not enough to pass. They needed 24 votes. So the tush push lives to see another season. And speaking of NFL owners, Jim Irsay, longtime owner of the Indianapolis Colts, has died. Yeah, he was 65.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, guy had his issues for sure.
Well, yeah. Yeah, he passed away peacefully in his sleep, they said. No official cause of death has been announced, but Irsay did have a lot of health problems in the past few years.
Substance abuse, and all kinds of stuff.
He looked about 95.
Respiratory illnesses, suspected OD on opioids, like you said, in 2023, where he was found unresponsive at his home, treated with Narcan, rarely seen after a fall at home last year. That said, not all bad. He had a pretty cool life.
Yeah.
He turned the Colts from a joke into a powerhouse with the help of Peyton Manning, Tony Dungy, Bill Polian, bringing Indy a Lombardi trophy and even a Super Bowl title in 2012. He was known as a one-of-a-kind owner, a diehard fan of music, history, all things Colts.
Well, he's got such a cool collection of stuff that it would travel. It was like a traveling show.
Like
Jim Irsay stuff.
A collection of like
guitars and items that he bought and
share it with the world.
And, but then he would but he did that as a pretense because then he would get like the guitarist from Steely Dan and Foghat and he would make you watch him play a music show. So he did what a billionaire does, which is tons of drugs and hire famous friends.
Sure.
Yeah.
He sent Super Bowl rings to ex-players, quoted Hunter S. Thompson, and once said his prized guitars were four-dimensional.
Yeah.
So R.I.P. Jim Irsay.
Yeah, he was a character, man, for sure.
Yeah.
I was surprised when I heard that this morning. Like, oh, man, that sucks.
2 Israeli embassy staff members, a man and a woman, were shot and killed outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., near the FBI's field office last night. The shooting happened around 9:15 on F Street Northwest during an event hosted by the American Jewish Committee. Cops say it appears to be a targeted attack, with the shooter yelling "Free Palestine" before firing. A suspect is in custody. A weapon was recovered as well. The FBI, the D.C. police, and the U.S. Attorney General all investigating. The Israeli ambassador calls it anti-Semitic terrorism. There's no ongoing threat to the public, but this definitely shines a light on safety concerns for the Jewish community. And things got real spicy in court yesterday as one of Diddy's former assistants took the stand. Let's just say the job came with some very specific tasks. He testified under immunity and spilled all kinds of tea, saying he was in charge of setting up hotel rooms with candles and booze and baby oil and lube. Okay. Then he had to clean everything up to avoid leaks from hotel staff.
Yeah, imagine you have that job. You're the freak off cleaner.
I had that job personally. I worked as a basically a busboy,
a Joe cleaner.
At a swingers club, and it was not fun.
Oh God!
Must have smelled good.
What's the oddest thing you found?
It was just constant condoms on the floor. They had trash cans.
Yeah, but they would just leave them on the floor.
Right, and then there's good as any.
Litter box.
Yeah.
On to next.
Like people here at work.
Exactly.
With trash cans.
Well, he also claims he scored drugs, MDMA, stuff like that for Diddy during trips to Miami and L.A. Earlier in the day, a psychologist broke down how victims in abusive relationships can feel trapped and manipulated, though the defense did try to paint the expert as biased, since she usually is called by the prosecution. And today, Kid Cudi expected to take the stand, reportedly to talk about how Diddy may have gone after him over his past with Cassie. So we'll see what he says. And hey, since we're on the subject of garbage people, Chris Brown just posted a $6.7 million bail to get out of UK jail.
Free Brown.
Yeah, he was locked up last week after getting hit with serious assault charges for smashing a music producer with a bottle in a club in London last year. Prosecutors say the whole thing was caught on camera, and it wasn't just one hit. There was punching and kicking and the typical...
So Chris Brown stuff.
Yeah, the Chris Brown treatment. Yeah. Just ask Rihanna. Chris hasn't entered a plea yet, and he's due back in court next month. Meanwhile, his tour is allowed to continue.
Yes.
Oh, and he's also being sued for $30 million by a former superfan who he falsely painted as a dangerous stalker. So he's a good
cool guy.
guy.
Remember the time that Chris Brown was having a yard sale at his house?
Yeah.
And then Seabass went?
I sure do.
What?
Yeah, so Seabass went to the yard sale, and Chris Brown's team was so pissed about this.
Chris Brown literally called me the devil.
Yeah.
You must be horrible.
Yeah, all right. So the idea was he was selling all these things, clothes, and items, personal items and stuff.
And there's a good chance, because it's Chris Brown, that these things he was using while he committed crimes.
Right. So
evidence.
First of all, Seabass wanted to talk to who would show up to this event.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Thousands.
And then what would they be interested in buying? Right. I have some audio. This is from 2019, so this is quite a while ago. Here we go.
How much would you pay for the outfit Chris was wearing the night that he beat Rihanna up?
I don't know, because kind of balance.
Sure.
So I want to say about 200-ish.
Okay, yeah, because you don't want to be disrespectful to Rihanna.
Yeah, not just that. If I resell on eBay, how many woman beaters out there and just want to buy it. So
yeah, right.
You never know.
Oh, wow.
You never know.
I hadn't thought of that. A professional woman beater might want to buy.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and
that's who he's attracted to the yard sale.
there were so many people out there.
How much are you willing to pay for something of Chris Brown's?
I've paid like $600 to meet him, so I mean.
So before you meet Chris Brown, they don't make you put on any kind of boxing headgear, body armor, or anything?
Kidding.
No, nothing too serious.
Yeah, nothing too serious.
Yeah. Just how much would you pay for the outfit Chris wore when he got kicked out of rehab for bashing in his mother's window in her car?
All right. How about the outfit he wore at the Indigo tour, or the outfit he wore at the Fame tour, or the outfit he wore?
I didn't see those on the list.
Street,
Yeah, I didn't see those.
Not for sale.
Yeah,
So-
let's ignore all the stuff where he beat people or did the rotten things.
Nice spin.
Yeah.
With this London thing, he's just never going to go back to London, right?
Yeah,
Is he
that
really
was
gonna
my
go
question
back?
too.
Well, that's why'd he go there in the
Yeah.
first place? Because if you are Chris Brown, you should have a team of lawyers constantly monitoring your warrants.
Yeah.
That's just good business.
Yeah, of course.
How are you able to get off work to come out to Chris Brown's house today?
Kidding.
I don't have to go to work.
Oh, there you go. That must be very nice. Independently wealthy. I like that.
Yes, sorta.
Okay, very nice. So now, what of Chris Brown's are you looking to purchase today?
A lot of
Now, who's this? How do you know this person?
he's my cousin.
It's Cameron's cousin. We finna go shopping.
This is your cousin. Now, your cousin's flashing a lot of $100 bills.
I know, and I don't know why, because now they're gonna go in my pocket.
Yeah, I'm figuring. I'm figuring to pay. Yeah, here we go.
How much would you pay for the outfit Chris Brown was wearing when he was detained for rape in Paris recently?
Oh wow. 500, same thing.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit of a historical factor there.
Sure.
He didn't do it.
That's right. He was acquitted. That's right. They released him eventually. So that was one of the things Chris Brown actually didn't do.
That's right.
That's right.
That's
Got that
right.
They could prove
Yeah,
it at least.
that's
All
right.
right.
Cool guy.
Talk about flipping the script. Dallas pulled off an insane comeback in Game 1 of the Western Conference Final, dropping 5 straight goals in the third to beat the Edmonton Oilers 6-3. Down 3-1 heading into the final period, the Stars looked cooked, but then their offense exploded. That makes 6 comeback wins for Dallas this postseason. For comparison, the Oilers came into the game as the comeback kings, setting an NHL record earlier in the playoffs with 5 in a row. The Oilers are going to need some serious bounce back energy for Game 2, which will be tomorrow night in Dallas. In the NBA playoffs, this was crazy. It was absolute madness.
I'm not
Game
even,
1.
as you know, I'm not a basketball fan,
Not at all.
but I was watching a little bit of this. I saw the clip, the recap of this game. This game is wild.
Yeah, my husband was
So
screaming.
exciting.
Yeah, this was crazy. The Pacers ended up beating the Knicks in overtime, but the Knicks had a 17-point lead in the fourth. Then, in the final 3 minutes, the Pacers dropped 23 points, tied it up on a wild one-bounce buzzer beater from mid-range, and finished the job in OT to win 138-135. That is a franchise playoff scoring record. Game 2 is on Friday. And Southwest is rolling out a new policy starting next Wednesday that's raising a couple of eyebrows. So they're now requiring passengers to keep portable chargers like power banks and stuff out in the open during flights. So no more charging your phone with one of those buried in your backpack or tucked in the overhead bin. So why this change? Well, it's all about safety. Lithium-ion batteries can overheat and catch fire, and there have already been nearly 20 battery-related incidents on planes this year. By keeping chargers visible, flight crews can act faster if something goes wrong. Southwest is the first U.S. airline to enforce this kind of rule, though a few international carriers have already tightened their own restrictions. Some ban chargers altogether.
Okay, well, how about just having some kind of power supply at every seat?
Yeah,
And I'm saying, but people wouldn't need the power bank.
And they never work.
They're starting to do that though. Southwest's new planes do have it where you can charge stuff right there.
More
They're not all
and more
wonky.
planes
Yeah,
definitely
the
do.
older
Exactly.
planes don't
I
have
don't
it.
see how they're going to enforce it. Are you going to look through every single bag to find?
Yeah, I know.
Which, by the way, I carry one of
if
these.
you're
Well, if
charging
you
it,
see a cable,
the
yeah.
Did you see that one TikToker who's a Dodgers fan? He went into the stadium with a fake battery charger that happened to be a flask.
Nice.
And he was showing it off on TikTok. Now he's banned for life.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Did it to himself.
Weak.
Well, that's what's going on, Woody.
All right. Thank you very much, Gina Grad.
You got it.
More Woody Show next. Hang on.
We're going to take a little bit of a break. In the meantime, please lower your standards.
The Woody Show, Alt 98.7.